Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're doing well. This video is quite an impromptu video. Like, I never really plan to film it. Usually when I'm filming, I know exactly what I'm going to film when. And this is one of those videos that the inspiration came so strongly that I couldn't wait to film it. I thought, you know what, this needs to be reached to someone. Like, someone needs to hear this right now. And so I'm not gonna be very like structured as I usually am, because a lot of the time, you know, I come with my points, I come with my scriptures, but I do believe that this is a message that will touch the heart of someone that needs to hear it right now. So the question we are asking is, what is the object of your faith? Now, as believers, it's so important for us to have faith. Like, faith is what gets us started on our walk with God, but it's so important to know exactly where you are placing your faith. If you met someone across the road, an unbeliever or, you know, a non-believer, and you spoke to them, oh, what do you have faith in? They will tell you a bucket load list of things: their family, maybe their friends, their job, their house, their partner, spouse, kids, you know, all of these different things. So it's possible to have faith but not have faith in the one true God. And this is where a lot of Christians fall away. I know a lot of Christians who fall away from the faith, or who stop believing in God, or stop trusting God, or move away from God because something that they believed would happen did not happen. Now, I believe that God is not a liar. It says in his word, God is not a man that he should lie, nor a son of man that he must repent. It's so good for us to hold on to the promises of God, but let us never hold on to the promise than we do the person. So what am I trying to say? I'm saying that we must make sure we put our faith in the person of God, in the person of Jesus Christ. We're not placing our faith in the fact that he's going to reward us. We're placing our faith in who he is, in the fact that he is faithful, that he never changes. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. He's the Alpha, the Omega. I am all for believing in God to do stuff in our life. Like, I do pray that God, you would do this, or I ask God to do certain things, but it's also very important to remember every single prayer is at the discretion of God's will. If we are not praying in accordance to God's will, then it will not happen, regardless of how much you believe or how much faith you have in that prayer coming to pass. Then Jesus Christ says that if you ask for anything in my name, I will do it. But it's so important we do not take this verse out of context. Like, when we read the Bible, we must rightly divide the word of truth. We must not take it out of context and make it mean what we want it to mean. We must apply it the way it was originally meant to be applied. Now, when Jesus Christ says this, he means if you ask for anything in my name, that is according to the will of my Father. That is according to the will of my Father. So when you pray, you need to make sure you're praying according to God's will, so that we don't begin praying prayers that are selfish, ambition related, praying prayers for our own elevation, for our own honor, for our own glory, because it says that God will not share his glory with anyone. So how do you know what to pray? How do you know what the will of God is? One phrase that I've heard someone say is, don't have faith in your faith. Let's not put our faith in the fact that because I have faith it's going to happen, because when it doesn't happen, we start to doubt God. We fall away and we begin to doubt, but God didn't do this. You're placing your faith in uncertain things, things that are changing. You will waver, you will stumble, you will be here and there. One day your faith will be on a high, the next your faith will be low. But when your faith is in the finished works of Jesus Christ, what he did, then you will begin to see everything else as a blessing. If we strip everything back now, we strip every single thing back, everything, all the blessings, all the prospects, all the glory, everything, we strip it back down and we say, okay, I'm a sinner. If I got justice by God, I would go to hell, because there is nothing I can do in and of myself to save myself from the wrath of God. But then Jesus Christ steps in and he pays the price. He rose from dead and he proved that he was the Son of God. And now that I place my faith in him, I am saved. So salvation is a gift from God. And if that is all we got from God, if salvation is all we get from God, it is already too much. So in this life, you know, do not expect that everything is going to be rosy. We're not living for materialism on this earth right now. We're living for the greater glory that is in heaven above. We're living for the kingdom. We're living for what is to come, not what is happening. A good example of this is Job. You know, in the Bible, if you haven't read the book of Job, please do read it. It's an amazing piece of poetry, and it just shows you how there's so many more dimensions to God than you think. A lot of the time we perceive that, oh, if something bad is happening to me, it's the devil, it's Satan, it's enemies, it's powers, it's principalities. But God also inflicts his children to strengthen them. He brings us trials, he brings us tests. Let's go to Job 1. Let's go there, because, you know, we got to look at this. Okay, so from Job 1 verse 1, it says, there was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job. And that man was blameless and upright, and one who reverently feared God and abstained from and shunned evil. We know that Job lived an upright life. He was close with God. He shunned evil. He loved God and his commandment. He feared him. He had a lot of possessions. He had 10 children, 7 guys, 3 girls. And, you know, a lot of stock, a lot of livestock, a lot of money. He had a wife, he had a good house, he had a lovely, lovely living. But what did God allow to happen to him? God allowed him to be tested, and he took every single thing away from him. Angels were meant to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came too. And Elohim was like, Satan, what are you doing here? Why are you here? Satan was like, oh, I've just been walking up and down, to and fro. After this, the enemy came and basically said, oh, if you were to take all of the possessions away from Job, he would no longer serve you. So Elohim said, okay, do what you want to do, but you cannot take his life. So God still had sovereignty, God still had control. Then basically all of Job's children died. He lost everything. He lost all he had, yet he committed to staying righteous. Now, why do you think he had that? Because his faith was not in his possessions. His faith was not in his children. His object of faith was in God alone. Even his wife said to him, you still hold up to your righteousness? Go and curse God and die. Like, his wife, because she was so materialistic, she found her trust, she found her hope, she found her livelihood in her children, in her livestock, in her family, in her home. When that all was gone, she had no reason to look to God. People will fall away from God. People will say, I don't want to serve God anymore because he took this from me. But ultimately, God is sovereign. Like, God can do whatever he wants to do. God is not bound by anything. Of course, God will not go against his word, but ultimately God is above all things, and we do not have an entitlement to anything. So we need to make sure that God is the object of our faith alone, that even when everything around us is shaking, everything around us is falling, everything around us is falling to pieces, just like it will, persecution is coming, tribulation is coming, we will be able to stand because our faith was in God. And I think this is such a principal thing, but it's so easily misplaced. It's so easy to place your faith in other things except for Christ Jesus alone. And so I just want to encourage you to check yourself, you know, examine yourself. Where are you placing your faith? Are you placing your faith in your academics? Are you placing your faith in your beauty? Are you placing your faith in your job? Are you placing your faith in your family status? Are you placing your faith in anything else apart from Christ? Because if you are, you're building on a rocky foundation. And what did Jesus Christ say in Matthew 7? When the wind came, when the storm blew, the house fell, and great was the fall. So let's go back, let's dig deeper, let's go back to the foundational things and check that we're building on that firm foundation, because only in Christ alone will we be sure to stand in the day of trial. Yeah, I actually did rant. I don't even know. I thought this video was going to be like 3 minutes, but I can actually talk.